Hello and welcome to Spectrum News at 4. I am Uyai Anyekan, coming to you live from the beautiful hills of Ibiakuran. Let's take a look at the headlines. Federal government clarifies on National Theatre renaming. President Buhari meets with Sokoto State Governor Tambuwal in Asorok. Plus, UN chief holds frank discussions with Russia over Ukraine. Details of these stories and more in a moment. We begin with a report that the federal government has clarified that it is not renaming the entire Lagos National Theatre complex, built in 1976 to host the 1977 Festival of Arts, popularly known as Festac. The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, made the clarification when he featured on a televised program. Mohammed explained that the government was merely renaming the complex housing the edifice. He said the complex house in the National Theatre would be known as Lagos Creative and Entertainment Center, with 4 creative hubs and other facilities currently under construction. In another development, President Muhammadu Buhari has condoled with the family of former Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, Alabo Graham Douglas, who passed away yesterday. President Buhari's condolence message was contained in a statement signed by his special advisor on media and publicity, Femi Adesina. The president sympathized with the government and people of Rivers State over the loss of the political stalwart, Democrat and administrator who served as a Minister of Aviation, Minister of Labor and Productivity, and Minister of Tourism, leaving a legacy of distinguished service on the nation, while noting that the investment of the departed in people and building of institutions would be remembered by posterity. President Buhari prayed God to grant the departed soul a peaceful rest and comfort his family. Away from that, United Nations has offered condolences to the Nigerian and Imo state governments, as well as the people of the states over the illegal refinery explosion. The bloke's sympathy was conveyed by the Special Representative of the Secretary General and Head of the UN Office for West Africa and the Sahel, Mohammed Andandif. On the legislative matters, the House of Representatives has suspended today's plenary due to ongoing renovations in their House chambers. In a notice from the House clerk, members and other legislative staff were informed that the session would not hold and that a new date will be communicated in due course. The House clerk, however, apologized for all inconveniences. In politics now, where the Vice President Yemi Osibajo says he would be betraying Nigerians if he does not contest the 2023 presidency. Osibajo stated this in Ondo while addressing delegates of the All Progressives Congress in the state capital, Akure. The vice president, who restated his commitment to bring about solutions to Nigeria's problems, called on the party's faithfuls to support his ambition in the interest of the country. Meanwhile, some People's Democratic Party, PDP, former governors have denounced the consensus candidacy being promoted by 4 presidential aspirants of the party. They argued that such an idea was capable of causing disunity that could affect the opposition party's chances of winning next year's election. In the statement, the former governors and stakeholders argued that what the PDP needed most now was a synergy that would result in producing Nigeria's next president in 2023, rather than an idea that could result in north-south divide within the party. The former governors are Sule Lamido of Jigawa State, Babangida Aliyu of Niger State, Boni Haruna of Adamawa, and Ibrahim Idris of Kogi State. Reports say former Police Affairs Minister Adamu Waziri, Senator Dino Malayi, and other stakeholders of the PDP also attended the parley. Still in politics, the All Progressives Congress APC has commenced the sale of expression of interest and nomination forms for various elective positions ahead of the party's primaries. The party also directed that nomination forms for the state legislature should be sold at the state headquarters. APC National Publicity Secretary Felix Morka confirmed the development to newsmen. The APC National Working Committee also directed organizing secretaries from the 36 states to collect forms for aspirants vying for the State House of Assembly positions. It added that tickets for aspirants contesting for a National Assembly, governorship and presidential seats will be sold at the National Secretariat at designated places. In the meantime, Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has announced new continuous voter registration (CVR) figures. The electoral umpire said there were 8.56 million registration as of yesterday. The information is contained in the CVR update for week 2 of the quarter 4. Reports say the total figure comprises both of online and physical registrations. Away from that, Chairman, Nigerian Bar Association Ado-Ekiti branch Adeyemi Adewumi has made a case for total independence of the judiciary by weaning them from dependence on the executive in terms of appointment and finance to avoid arbitrariness and domination. Adewumi alleged that the present situation whereby the executive had the authority to appoint judges and magistrates had given it the power to stifle and control the judiciary with impunity. He said the trend should change to strengthen democracy and judicature. The NBA chairman, who spoke at a press conference to flag off the branch 2022 Law Week, said the judiciary will never be functional and independent as long as the executive ratified the appointments and released funds for their operations. In a separate development, the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, says it will continue to map out vulnerable communities in response to the 2022 seasonal climate prediction, as released by the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET. The Director General of the agency, Mustafa Ahmed, announced this during a 2-day expert technical meeting to analyze the 2022 seasonal climate prediction in Abuja. Ahmed, who was represented by the Director, Relief and Rehabilitation, NEMA, Al-Hassan Nuhu, said the impact of flood and other disasters on lives and property depended on the country's level of preparedness. He noted that it was important to simplify the predictions to vulnerable communities to stimulate early actions against climate risk in the country. Away from that, all Christian schools in Lagos have resumed this week in line with a directive from the state government. Recall that the Lagos state government had shut down all branches of Christian schools on April 18th over alleged sexual abuse of one of its pupils. In Africa, Burkina Faso military court has started an hearing on the interest of the civil parties in the case of Thomas Sankara and his 12 companions. The lawyers for the civil parties demanded that the state and the accused be jointly and severely liable and obliged to compensate all the damage suffered by the families. The Sankara family is asking for the symbolic sum of £1 as compensation for damages. Reports say the military court will render its decision on May 10th. Still in Africa, the United Nations mission in South Sudan says dozens of people have recently been killed in violence that includes beheadings and sexual attacks in a volatile county in South Sudan. The mission documented 72 civilian deaths between February 17 and April 7th in Unity State, Leah County. Reports say among the victims was a local staffer with the humanitarian group Doctors Without Borders. On the foreign scene, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has called for a ceasefire in Ukraine ahead of talks with Russia's Vladimir Putin. Guterres described discussions with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov as frank, but insisted he was visiting Moscow as a messenger of peace. This comes after Lavrov warned of a real threat of World War III breaking out. Meanwhile, U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin and military experts says that the United States have made plans to send artillery to Ukraine aimed at degrading Russian forces, not only on the immediate battlefield but over the longer term. The United States, France, Czech Republic and other allies are sending scores of long-range howitzers to help Ukraine blunt Russia's mounting offensive in the eastern Donbas region. Backed by better air defense, attack drones and Western intelligence, the allies hope that Kyiv will be able to destroy a large amount of Russia's firepower in the looming shutdown. In addition, satellite images have shown North Korea firing up activity at its nuclear testing facility in Punggye-ri in March, stoking fears the country would resume testing nuclear weapons and long-range missiles. Still on the foreign scene, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has made a defiant speech vowing to ramp up the country's nuclear arsenal. Kim, who made the statement at a military parade to mark the Armed Forces founding anniversary, also displayed banned intercontinental ballistic missiles (ICBMs), while displaying submarine-launched ballistic missiles in addition to hypersonic missiles. Kim also added that North Korea will continue to take steps to strengthen and develop the nation's nuclear capabilities at the fastest pace, adding that their nuclear forces must be ready to be exercised anytime. Recall that in March, North Korea tested its largest known ICBM for the first time since 2017, which sparked wide condemnation from the international community. However, Kim has been undeterred by the condemnation so far. Still to come in the news. Guterres' move to Real Madrid confirmed. Do stay with us. In business, billionaire entrepreneur Elon Musk has agreed to buy Twitter Incorporated for $44 billion, using one of the biggest leveraged buyout deals in history to take private a 16-year-old social networking platform that has become a hub of public discourse and a flashpoint in the debate over online free speech. The company, in a statement, said that investors will receive $54.20 for each Twitter share they own, which is 38% more than the stock's close on April 1st, the last business day before Musk disclosed a significant stake in the company, sparking a share rally. Recall that Musk had on April 14 offered to take Twitter private, saying he will make the platform a bastion of free speech amongst other changes he will make as owner. Still on business, the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, STVNg, has said that the number of micro, small and medium enterprises, MSMEs, across the country dropped by about 2 million between 2017 and 2021. The Director General STVNg, Diko Rada, disclosed this at an event organized by the Transparency Advocacy for Development Initiative in collaboration with STVNg in Abuja. Rada noted that the country's MSMEs reduced from about 41 million in 2017 million in 2021 due to the impact of COVID-19 and other challenges on small businesses nationwide. Now to health. As the world commemorates the 2022 World Immunization Week, a group, Save the Children International in Nigeria, has called on governments at all levels and relevant stakeholders to expedite actions toward reducing and ending deaths from vaccine-preventable diseases. The group made this call in a statement made available to newsmen, acknowledging immunization as one of the world's most successful health interventions and expressed optimism that its observance would undoubtedly help save millions of lives. According to the group, this week provides them an opportunity to increase public awareness about the importance of every person's need and rights, including children, girls, women, and people with disabilities, to be protected from vaccine-preventable diseases. In sports, Chelsea's midfielder Jorginho has acknowledged that the club will miss its defender Antonio Rudiger after he moves to Real Madrid. It could be recalled that Chelsea's boss Thomas Tuchel had confirmed on Sunday that the centre-back will leave the club this summer after he failed to agree a new deal. The 29-year-old current contract reportedly expires at the end of the season, and he now looks set to join Real Madrid on a free transfer. On our entertainment, former Big Brother Naija housemate Olamilekan Masood, popularly known as Lekan, has slammed the Nigerian government over the state of the nation. The reality TV star made this known via his Twitter page while reacting to the strike led by the Academic Staff Union of Universities that has left many out of schools. Recall that at the end of the warning strike in March, the academic union proceeded to another 2 months industrial action, among other demands. The union called for fixing distortions in salaries, payments challenges, providing funds for revitalizing public universities, providing an academic allowance, and improving the funding of state universities. And that's all we have for you at this time. Do ensure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, SpectrumTv.ng. You have been watching